I'm Oren Pizmony-Levy. I wasn't a student, and unfortunately I wasn't a colleague, but I was a very serious reader of what Harold Noah wrote from the 70s, 80s on international large-scale assessment, and I would like to talk about that in a couple of minutes. I met him once, it was a couple of years ago. My colleague Hope Leichter, who is in the audience, and I had a wonderful lunch with him, and it was at Pestici, and I remember that I was very terrified because I read his work for so long, and over lunch, between salad and other bites, I was able to learn more about this person behind this publication, and I wish I had more opportunities to engage him with questions that I still have from what he wrote. We are meeting today to celebrate his life and achievement in a very interesting day. A couple of hours ago, the OECD released the new results of PISA 2018, with more than 75 countries participating in it. There is a big hoo-ha in the media. I encourage you to go and read what they're saying about the US, that didn't improve at all over the past decade. But why am I saying that? It's because people like Harold Noah were the key leaders in the movement. It's a scientific movement that started in the mid-50s and really got attention after the publication of his book with Exton about making comparative education more empirically scientific, systematic analysis of education systems. Without his work and without his push behind the scene, and I can say that I know what he did behind the scene because I was able to read his reviews of papers that were submitted to Comparative Ed Review over the years, and he served as a reviewer, and I was able to see how nicely he really promoted and cultivated this movement to get into the publication. My reading of him, and I want to quote only one piece that I found from the 70s. It's a piece that he actually wrote an editorial in CER, in Comparative Ed Review, our flagship journal. And back then he was amazed by the mass of data that they are going to collect in 1970. And when we say mass data, we talk about 19 countries. So from 19 countries to 75, we did a lot. But here's what he said. What do we hope to do with this mass data that we will receive during the 70s? Basically, he said, I think there are three things we hope to do. First, and I think that's most important, we expect to test a whole series of commonly held assumptions about the relationship of scholastic outcomes to certain structural characteristics of national societies. And then he goes on and on to develop in a very curious intellectual way, what's the purpose of collecting this large-scale assessment? And in his notes, in this publication and other, he left us with one big notion, that comparative education is not only a way to govern education systems and to sanction them or to scandalize them, as Gita will say in her writing. It's really a way of learning about the education systems, exploring the variation, not only trying to converge them into one specific way of doing education. And I think this is the main lesson that we can take from his work, that I'm taking from his work 40 years after, is that comparative education is a very interesting way to know the world. It's not necessarily a way to govern the world. I will leave us with that.